Have you ever noticed how we talk about wanting change, but when it actually happens, we act like it's a bad breakup? It's like we want things to be different, but the second we're faced with something new, we freeze. Why is that? I mean, change is inevitable, right? But for some reason, it feels like a battle we can't win. We resist it like it's some sort of villain. But here's the kicker. Change isn't the bad guy. It's the thing that could actually help us level up. Sure, it's uncomfortable at first, but here's the thing. Our brains are wired to handle it. So before we get all dramatic about the dangers of change, let's take a second to understand what's going on in our brains when it hits. You know that feeling when you're about to do something new and your heart starts racing? That's your brain, specifically the amygdala, sending out a red alert. It's basically screaming, "Stop! We don't know what this is and we don't like it." Your brain is hardwired to avoid anything unfamiliar because it's trying to keep you safe. But here's the twist. Your brain is also super adaptable. It's got something called neuroplasticity, which is just a fancy way of saying your brain can rewire itself to adjust to change. So yeah, your brain may freak out at first, but if you stick with it, eventually your brain gets used to it and things start feeling normal again. But here's the deal. Even though our brains are wired to resist change, there's more going on. We also have a natural fear of the unknown. You've probably experienced this before. Think back to that first day at a new job or when you move to a new place. It feels like stepping into a new world without a map. It's nerve-wracking. It's like, what if I screw this up? What if I don't fit in? That's the brain doing its thing, trying to keep you in the comfort zone. Then there's the social pressure. Ever feel like everyone around you has it all together, and when you try something new, people act like you're the odd one out? It's like you're constantly comparing yourself to others. And let's be honest, that can make us second-guess everything we do. We don't want to be judged, so we stick to what's familiar, even if it's not really helping us grow. Speaking of comfort zones, let's talk about that for a second. We all have them. It's that cozy bubble where everything feels predictable and safe. The problem? Staying in that bubble forever means you're not really growing. You're just stuck. Change is what gets you out of that rut. It forces you to challenge yourself, try new things, and stretch beyond what you thought was possible. Now I know what you're thinking. That's easy for you to say, but change still sucks. And I get it. But here's the truth. Change can actually be a good thing for you. It's how you grow. Look at successful people. They didn't get there by sticking to the same routine. They embraced change, took risks, and kept pushing themselves to try new things. Take Apple, for example. They didn't stay stuck in computers. They adapted, innovated, and became the powerhouse they are today. It's not just companies like Apple, though. You too can use change to level up your life. Maybe it's changing your habits, trying a new hobby, or taking a new direction at work. Little changes add up. The more you lean into them, the more you'll realize how much you can grow and evolve. But how do you actually deal with change? Well, it doesn't have to be this giant leap. Break it down into smaller steps. Change feels overwhelming when you think about it all at once. But if you just focus on one small shift, it feels a lot more manageable. Maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier or taking a different route to work. Start small, and before you know it, those small changes will add up. Another tip: find people who have already made the changes you're trying to make. Talk to them. Get advice. It's way easier to navigate change when you're not doing it alone. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Use the experiences of others as a guide. You're not the first person to go through this, and you won't be the last. And let's not forget about your mindset. How you look at change makes all the difference. Instead of thinking, "Ugh, this is going to be so hard," try to see it as an opportunity. Think of it like this. Change is the universe handing you a chance to grow. Embrace that challenge, and you'll start seeing it as less of a threat and more of a chance to improve. One more thing, don't expect perfection. Change takes time. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and have everything figured out, but that's okay. The key is to keep going, even if you're only making small progress. Celebrate those tiny wins and keep pushing forward. You've got this.